Hello, in this video I will show you in which we are working right now at incremental steps. So thinking about the small teams uh, that they can create a full infrastructure, or they can afford with the cost of Amazon to create a full stack. We created a terraform cluster using nomad. Right now we are deploying this stack in Oracle because we have a free account. We are running in this free account, but hopefully in a near future we want to migrate also, or to not migrate, we want to replicate also for another clouds as Amazon, Google, and so on. Okay, so basically what we want to create is a replicated way to create an environment for nextflow users. Okay, the aim is nextflow users. So basically we have created this repo where you can find terraform modules with a bastion, a file systems, a minion, a nomad cluster. Okay, so you can create, you can attach as many clients you want, and you will have a nomad cluster. Okay, also you have the virtual cloud network. So basically, once you clone this repo and configure, is all specified in the README. Here you have all you need. Okay, you need to specify several variables and so on. Create a couple of private keys. So basically, at the end, what you will have is a reproducible way to replicate this stack in multiple clients or teams. Imagine you have different teams also, for example, in different regions. You can replicate the same stack for them. Okay, so once you execute and you prepare and so on, you can execute the terraform apply. So it will create the stack. You can modify the stack and apply again. So basically, once you have deployed it, you will have something as this. Terraform output will show you that Terraform apply all this file, and you have a instant bastion with a public IP and several private IPs. So basically, once you have deployed this Terraform and you go to your Oracle, you will have, for example, a virtual cloud network. Okay, I have incremental step virtual. So all that I will show you is created by Terraform. Nothing, at least 99%, is automaticized, is not manually created. So you have two subnets, for example, a public and a private. So in the private subnet is when all the instances are executed, and in the public subnet is only the bastion to access to this system. Okay, you have all the, for example, all the security rules for the private, the public. All things are specified in the Terraform file, and they create all this stuff directly. Also, this Terraform deploy a few instances. Let me show you the instance. Okay, well, right now it's running. So you have, for example, a bastion, a nomad server, a nomad client. You can specify how many clients you want to attach to the cluster. Right now I'm using only one. Also, you can set 0 and you will have only the nomad server. This is, for example, for small pipelines or demos and so on. Also, it will deploy a minion instance. So once you have all this stuff deployed and configure following the README, you will be able to access, for example, to these IPs 10, 10, 2, 1. So you can go here, for example. This is another cluster, so I will change this. Okay. And I missed one important key. I have deployed in Oracle all this instance, all the VPNs and so on. I have a cluster. I have a Minio to replicate Amazon S3 buckets. So you can create buckets. Okay, this is open source. Okay, but this is running in a private network in somewhere in Oracle. So the idea is that this stack deploy a tail-scale virtual network, so you can join this. I needed to execute a tail-scale login, blah blah blah. So I needed to execute this command to log in this VPN. I want to accept all the routes exposed by the cluster. So when I execute this, I can, for example, see the status of the cluster. So right now I'm attached at edge, and I can see the nomad server. What this means? This means that when I have the tail-scale VPN app, I'm able to access to this VPN, and nomad server act as a proxy, a kind of proxy to the rest of the machines. So for example, this is why I can see the Minio, I can see the cluster, and I can see, for example, the client of the cluster. So more or less the idea is that in less than 5 minutes you can have this cluster deployed. Okay, so what you can do with this cluster, when you have deployed this, I have created a nextflow directory, for example, and you can specify the configuration. For example, I will execute. I will use the Nomad plugin. I need to use Minio. This is the access key and secret key I decided to use when I deploy this cluster. So this is, I can change this, and if you pay attention to this, this is the IP in the private network. So the idea is that all my data will reside in this cloud, in this cluster, and will not be outside of it. Okay. I have enabled the fashion wave, and also I pointing the cluster to the master, to the server of the cluster. Once you reach this server, it will assign to the client which job they need to execute. Okay, so with this configuration, I'm able here to run, for example, the nextflow run. Yes, I will run main, for example. I will run a simple. Let me show you this main is very simple. It's a typical hello world in nextflow. Okay, so I will run this pipeline. Typical bonjour, ciao, hello, hola. So okay, if we run this, so pay attention. I'm using S3, but I'm not using Amazon. I'm using the Minio instance. So here I try to refresh it. Nextflow created this demo, this working there. Okay, so nothing is outside of this cluster. Okay, and we have our main our pipeline executed. So basically, this is the idea of the project. You can find this project in Inksteps Nomad Oracle. Well, let me know if you find this repo interesting, this idea interesting. I would like to explore, as I told you, for other clouds, as Amazon obviously, or also in Google Cloud, and so on. Basically, whatever Terraform can deploy instance and virtual private network will be a good candidate for this project. Okay, so hope you enjoyed it and let me know if you find it interesting. Bye.